All right, welcome, welcome. All right, this is another edition of our weekly analysis. So we're going to be looking at a couple of pairs. What we're expecting of them this week. Are we expecting bullish, bearish, momentum on any of them? We're going to be looking at it. Starting from the pair on your screen right now that you're seeing, which is the Eurusd. There have been a lot of ups and downs in the United States economy, in one way or the other. It also have a lot of implication on our trades. But as usual, we're going to see how we're going to bring them, factor those activities, those economic ups and downs in our trading as well. And it will only be right for us to start looking at the economic calendars to see what we're expecting for the week. We are going straight to that. And you can see from Sunday, being 2 days ago, of course, we are not trading on Sundays. Monday, nothing, there's no any news. I'm talking of USD news on the United States dollars. Of course, I trade more on the majors, right? So I'm looking at news that affects the majors. Of course, news that affect the majors also affect most of the pairs, as well, most of the cross pairs. So now I'm looking at that, and I see Monday is free, Tuesday like today, no news, no high impact news. As you know, that is high impact news that has a strong effect on the currency you trade, right? So the minor or the weak, the minor impact does not move the market. The medium, to some extent, it does, but at least the one you want to stick to is the high impact news, which are the red folders. So you can see some of the data, the US data, right? Economic data has been tentative all through this year. It has been a tentative kind of expectation data. So due to the shutdown, as you can see over here, you can see on that Forex factory also give you the update saying US government data may be impacted by the shutdown, right? So the shutdown in US has a lot of impact on the pairs as well. So you say tentative events are subject to delay, right? So these are all tentative. All these ones, any folder you see with these stars, they are not sure, but if they have their way, they want this to happen, right? So that's all those tentative. So there's the major news we are expecting for the week is tentative, and that is on Friday, as you can see. It's on Friday, right? It's on Friday that we're expecting that. So now, having consulted the oracle, so let's now go into the chart and see what the chart is telling us. Now, don't mind this indicator. Let me take it out. Let me take the indicator out. Okay, so let's look at this. Now, as you all know, I always like to start from the higher time frame. Let's look at daily, or do we start from weekly? Okay, let's start from weekly. Let me take these out. Good. So this was last week candle. So we'll have, let's say, we'll look at the low here of last week. This is the low of last week, and you can see that the market is currently bearish, right? So now let's look at what may likely happen on this particular trade. On daily, we have equal lows here. We have these equal lows here. That's the first thing we're looking at here. And the second thing we're looking at here is that you also have, you will not call this other block, no, you don't call this other block because this is not break any high here. We can see a fair value gap between this particular candle, and this candle here. We have a fair value gap here, lining up here. of this fair value gap here, right? And as you can see, this is where it is in that fair value gap that price has currently tapped in. Price has currently tapped in on that particular fair value gap. So if we are supposed to look for a trade from this particular area, from that particular fair value gap zone, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to jump in and start buying immediately? It has actually told us, showed us previous events that happened in the market. The market was forming this high, this low, this high, this low, this high, this low, and this high. So making it creating a lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low. So if judging from this scenario, what then I will break this particular high to show us that it is about the market is about to change, the character of the market is supposed to change. What then are we supposed to do? So what then are we supposed to do? We are simply supposed to do one good thing, and that thing we are supposed to do is this: that this market has actually tapped into this other block here, right? It has tapped into that other block there, so which means the market is ready to go down. But then here we are seeing reasons why this market may not continue to go down, because we are seeing this fair value gap. So telling us that this market is an array, is a PD array that may likely push this market upward. So looking this in two ways, we're going to look for a stronger argument that will tell us the direction to go here, that will win the argument here. Now remember, this market is forming a lower low. Now it just broke this structure. Is another block, a price pull back into this area, and you're looking forward to sell. And below this particular area is this particular trend, this particular equal lows that are here. So what are we expecting to do here? So let's say we're going to 1 hour to look for probably a change of characters and all that. Let's see what that's going to happen based on what the market has done previously. You can see here that the market created a higher high, and here we have a change of character here, right? We have a change of character here. So if we are looking for a sell, we might be expecting this market, and here we have this break of structure here as well, and all of this. So we will be expecting price to do one simple thing for us, for price to either come back to this PD array here for us to sell. If at all this market is going to sell, we're going to expect that the market will pull back into this area for us to sell according to the direction of this previous price action, right? So we're going to be looking for that to have price to pull back here for us to be able to do what? To sell. But before price pull back into there, price needs to do what? It needs to buy, it needs to go up as well, which simply means that here also that we have this fair value gap. That is also a good area for us to look for our buy into this zone before we look for that. Say, since the market is still forming a lower low and a lower high and a lower low. So now that the market is here on that of our zone, we will be looking out to see what the market will do for us to buy. Now in looking for that, for us to look for a buy here, I can spot something, and that which I can spot is this particular breaker block. There's a breaker block here. You can see this is a breaker block here. So I would expect this market to come down lower. I expect this market to come down lower to this level. I expect this market to come down lower to this level before I can buy into this area. So that is my expectation on Euro USD. Okay. Now let's fast forward to looking at GBP USD as well. Let's look at GBP USD. So looking at GBP USD here, let's go down to daily. Let's erase these ones. Now, just the same thing we talked about, similarly to what we talked about, right? We have this move down, we have this one lower high, and we have this lower low, right? And we have this one again, another lower high. So which means we are looking downward push. We're looking for the market to push it down. So now, for us to confirm if it's going to push it down now or later, let's see what happens. So we have this break of structure here, break of structure. And we have this other block here. The market pull back into that other block. What are we expecting the market to do? Is to push down to sell, right? So now, but when the market pull back into that area, it created a fair value gap, which is this one here. Created this fair value gap here, this and this. That's the fair value gap the market also created here. And from what we are seeing, the market has just tapped, price has just tapped into that fair value gap zone, right? I just tapped into that fair value gap zone. So what are we expecting to do from here? Similarly to Eurusd, we're going to be looking out for opportunity in 1 hour to sell and opportunity to buy into where we wanted to sell to. So let's go down to 1 hour. And on 1 hour, you can see when price tap into that zone, right? When price tap into that other block on daily, you can see higher high, and we have our change of character here. This is our change of character somewhere here, right? So after the change of character, we expecting the market to pull back into a PD array for us to be able to sell, and the market did pull back into maybe 62 kind of pull back 62%. But then currently we are seeing that the market gave us a liquidity, that the market is coming back for this liquidity that we are seeing that is lying here. So for this liquidity that is lying here, so okay, let me just write on it. Liquidity. So we're seeing that liquidity, that price is definitely coming back to take out that liquidity. And if you take it out, where is it going? It is this other block that is seeing me here. Look at this other block here. That's what we're expecting this market to pull back to for us to be able to look for our sell. Now, but right now, price is currently on this particular zone, or that our fair value gap zone. So we're seeing this, and we're seeing what the market is also. The market has also created a liquidity pool here. They also created a liquidity pool here. Let's also label it. So we also have liquidity down here. So during the New York session, me personally, I will be expecting price to come back to this area here, this zone here, right? I'll be expecting price to pull back to that particular zone before I can jump into that trade for a buy. Look at it, come each place before I look for that sell. That is what I'm expecting on this particular setup. Okay, so let's look at which one now? Let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. Okay, so in our usual way, let's delete this first. In our usual way, we will look at daily time frame. Okay, so we're seeing what the market is doing, man. By the time gold start falling, gold will fall yakata. Okay, so we're seeing what the market is doing here. Not too clear. Let's go down to 4 hours to see. It's not too clear. Fine. We're seeing an equal high created here. That's liquidity created above here. Okay. And 2, what are we seeing again? We are also seeing some kind of have this low here. So this market is also tapping on. There's a fair value gap here, there's another block here. The market has actually tapped into them. So me personally, I will be looking out for this market condition to look for a reversal here, and looking for that reversal. I'll go down to 1 hour to see what is going to be like. 1 hour look like. As you can see, that's our liquidity, and as you can see that zone I marked on 1 hour. So what we're on 4 hours. So what we're going to be looking out for here is just to wait for New York key zone. During the New York key zone, the market must have formed, giving us some direction. We'll step down to smaller time frame and enter this trade and buy to take out this liquidity. And buy to take out, because this is the target now. From here, the market will move to take out, liquidate this guy here. So that is our expectation on gold, is to look for a buy. Okay. So finally, we're looking at USD JPY. We're looking at USD JPY. So let's see USD JPY. Okay, previously I was looking at USD JPY from the monthly perspective, and I found out that there is a fair value gap here, right? This is a fair value gap, and that's where this month is currently right now. So there are potential reversal line within that key zone, within that point of interest. So for me to do that, we're on daily already. Let's see what the market has done. What the market did here was it came into this breaker block, tap into this breaker. Market just tap into this breaker block right now. Tap into the breaker block, and that's why you see the market pushing up. Now that it's pushing up, where is it likely going to start selling from? And don't forget that on a monthly, this is a fair value gap, so which means there are potential reversal here, and price is currently within that particular area. So our concern should be a way of looking for a sell trade here. So let's go down to 4 hours to see, since it's not too clear, where the market may likely go to. So now here we can see now we have this drop, right? We have this lower high, right? And we have this lower low. So we're expecting the market to pull back into these levels. Let's take out these ones. So we're expecting this market. Let me take to see the right POI. Okay, so we'll be expecting the market to pull back into this other block here. Yes, that's the other block. We're expecting this market to pull back to for ourselves. To expect to sell around this zone. So you can see from the chart, that particular up candle has not been tapped in. Does not be tapped into, right? Does not be tapped into. It does not be tapped into. So it will be a very good one. So since we already have this formation forming, we already have this high, this low, and this high, and this low. So what do we have? Let it come here again, and what? Look for a sell. For the trend line traders, you pick it here, right? Now that it has broken it, you're expecting price to come back here, retest it before you do what you do for your buy. But for the smart money concept, the trend line is liquidity, it has been liquidated. We're expecting to tap into here and look for ourselves. So these are the things. So different traders, different strategies, right? Okay, so we're expecting this on USD JPY. So is there any pair anyone who want me to look at? If you want me to look at any pair, this is the time for you to post it on the comment section. Let's look at it together and see what we can do with that. Anyone? Let me check. Anyone? Okay, so just give us like a minute to see if there's anyone that wants us to look at a pair. If you want us to look at, just let us know. We'll look at it together and analyze it for you. So anyone? Okay, so since no one is speaking to us, I think this will be a very good time to say goodbye to everyone that participated on this section. So sorry, the weekly session is not going to be running for 3 times a week. It will be running now for once a week due to other things that takes much of our time here. Enjoy the rest of your day and good luck.